Now you can start.
Good morning, all of you. Our great Dr. MP Dore sir for kind approval to this activity. Dr. GL Jadhav sir, coordinator, value education and extension activities cell. I extend a warm welcome to my most esteemed teacher and guide, Dr. Kapil Singhel sir, who spared his precious time for us and our students to guide on globalization and communication skills. Communication skills, as we all know, allow us to understand and be understood by others. They range from simple listening skills to the technical skills of writing or making presentations. They are the abilities we use while giving and receiving information. This lecture is going to be a hallmark because new education policy also laid a special emphasis beginning with mother tongue to international languages. And that is how this lecture will help students to understand the importance of communication skills because that is the need of the hour. I myself would like to say a few words about Dr. Kapil Singhel sir as introduction. Dr. Kapil Singhel, Associate Professor, heads the Postgraduate Teaching Department of English at Vasantrao Naik, Government Institute of Arts and Social Sciences, Nagpur. With a teaching experience of more than 24 years and assigned with the responsibility of IPC coordinator, 4 students have been awarded PhD and 2 have completed MPhil under him. Proji Maharaj, postgraduate courses. He has to his credit 20 papers published in peer-reviewed UGC listed journals of national and international. He has been chairperson and resource person in more than and English drama that propagates social reforms. So, Kapil Singhel sir, to begin with his
Well, thank you, Amit. Am I clearly audible, Amit?
Yes,
Hello?
sir, you are clearly audible.
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Yeah. Speech. Anyway, fine. So at the outset, I would like to convey my humble regards to Sir Deshmukh, and I'm really happy to be a part of this. In fact, last week I was a part of some kind of observance of 123 years of the birth anniversary of this great person at DNC College in a debate competition. So it's another opportunity to be a part of it, and I'm really would like to thank at the outset, first of all, the chairperson of this gathering, that is Professor Mahendra Dhore sir, Principal Shivaji Science College, Nagpur. Then Dr. GL Jadhav sir from the Department of Physics, and the person who is the in charge of Value Education and Extension Activities Cell of the college. Along with him, the another convener, young Amit Jaiswal, organizing secretaries, Dr. Shubha Chandak and Mr. Manish Chauhan, and all my dear students who are the participants to this presentation of mine, who would be who are the source for whom for who are the for whom all this thing is being done. So uh, with this beginning, I would like to move on to my presentation. The screen has already been shared, and friends, globalization and communication skills. Hmm? Just now, as Amit mentioned in his speech, that new education policy uh, talks about the regional languages and its movement towards foreign languages. It is just the other way around, Amit. With what I have gone through, it is giving more emphasis on regional languages, and they have taken a clue from the development of Russia, China, Germany, because all these countries have developed through their regional languages. English is not a part as important part of education in these countries as it is in India. Maybe because of the history of the British ruling over us for around 180 years. That is the reason. And but in today's scenario, the world has changed. The scenario has changed, and it is an era of globalization. So now globalization for the student of science, uh, or any, why only science, any stream, globalization is a general term today. And the whole globe is coming together. The world is shrinking. It is getting smaller and smaller day by day. And the reason for this globalization are the different economic, political reasons. Hmm? And of course, the development and inventions that are taking place. So, considering that, uh, uh, in spite of all the importance to the regional languages, which abound in India we have more than 35 regional languages, of which 27 are official languages. So, with all due respect to them, in the era of globalization, when the world is shrinking and the people need to come together, you cannot deny the importance of English language, which may be taken as a foreign language by some people. But remember, you have to be internationally connected nowadays, and that connection is comfortably and conveniently possible only through a language that is English. So I start my presentation with this introductory speech. After this introductory speech, and let me tell you the connection that is between globalization and communication. Okay, as globalization, as you all know, it is not related to any particular aspect of our life. Even our families are getting globalized nowadays. One generation is in India, the another is in America. Maybe their granddaughter, their grandson, granddaughter, grandson, they are moving to some other country. So it is everywhere that the globalization is taking place. But how is it connected to communication? Now, communication has has remained the most important part of human civilization, the most important part of human personality, of human civilization, is our ability to communicate. Unless you are able to express yourself, unless you are able to pass on your thoughts, unless you are able to make the other person understand what you think, what you feel, or what you want, if you are unable to do it successfully, I don't think we will be able to make the progress that the human beings have made so far. It all has been possible because of the ability to communicate, And that is one of the things that differentiates human beings from animals. They have limited power of communication. They have few sounds. Through languages we have developed many sounds, many meanings. And when these things come out, when a meaning is assigned to them, when you are able to communicate it to the other person, make it understand to the other person, only then the thing gains importance. So that connection between globalization and communication is the first part of my presentation. And so integration and democratization of the world's economy, Arthvyavastha. Of course, globalization is nothing but liberal economy. Economy, infrastructure, and culture coming together. The economy is not merely limited to a particular region, to a particular state, to a particular nation. Whatever you are producing, if it has that quality to compete in the foreign market, it can be easily sold off. It will be acceptable to the consumers in the other nations as well. So the economic policies are important. The political system is important. So because of the integration, coming together, combination and democratization, things getting more and more liberal. The end of license Raj, as our former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had put it, that he wanted to end the license Raj, isn't it? He was a person who was in favor of liberal economy, and that is what he gave to us in 1991. After many years, history will consider him to be one of the makers of modern India, let me tell you. And the economy that we would be boasting of, that we would be proud of, and the foundation has been laid by Dr. Manmohan Singh through his policies of 1991 of liberal economy. So integration, democratization of the world's economy, infrastructure. Okay, economy, Arthvyavastha, infrastructure. The system which is a part of that economy. Banking is there. Production of material, production of goods is there. Then there are certain conditions under which they are sold. Taxes are to be applied. That all makes infrastructure. Availability of machines. And along with that, it is culture. No economy, no infrastructure is possible without human beings, without human society. And so the culture too plays an important part in this era of globalization, in this process of globalization. But when culture comes, communication comes, language comes. And that is why globalization and communication, they cannot be separated. They will be part and parcel of each other. So that is why globalization and communication, that is how they come together. The transnational investment across the borders. So many four-wheelers we are driving nowadays. They are coming from all parts of the world. Volkswagen we have from Germany. Kia we have from Korea, South Korea. Maruti Suzuki Maruti we have from Japan, isn't it? So they are coming from all over the places. That is transnational investment. Information technology. We are able to organize webinars. We are able to conduct classes across nations. International webinars are being arranged, are being organized. People are communicating from the other continent. And why all this? The most important is it's a part of your mobile phone now. WhatsApp video call. You can talk directly to the person who can be in any corner of this world. So information technology and rapid proliferation of communication, fast spread of communication. That is what is with investment and information technology. The investments that are crossing the border, the information technology, which is coming out with new inventions, new technologies, superior to what we had yesterday. Every coming day we are getting something new. So information technology, they have resulted in rapid spread of communication, and the importance of communication in globalization is paramount, is very important, because in globalization we have individuals, human beings, people from different countries, ethnicities, background, language you say, religion you say, so different tradition, languages, cultural attitudes, and other variation. We human, at every 200 kilometer it is said that the language changes, the pronunciation changes. Hindi or Marathi do not remain the same. Marathi, only in Maharashtra we have different kind of Marathi. The one we speak in Vidarbha is much different from the Marathi that we have in Marathwada. Western Maharashtra, Pune, Mumbai, they have different Marathis. So this variation, which is this variation is an important variation of language, has to be accepted. Just a minute. So sorry for that. I'll just put it on silent mode. I forgot to do that. So this different thing, that these variations have to come together if globalization has to succeed. If you have to take the full advantage, well, globalization is already successful, but if you want to take full advantage of this development, of this economic development which is taking place throughout the world, in the whole world, then there must be acceptance of these different ethnicities, different languages, cultural attitudes, and other variation that exist in human society. Communities, they change. Who can tell this better than an Indian? We are known for our unity in diversity, isn't it? We have diverse culture, many languages. I myself from UP. I am from Uttar Pradesh, Ajamgarh, doing a service in a college which is run by the government of Maharashtra, isn't it? What is this an example of? It's an example of it, that the regional boundaries, they no more exist. They are no more there. We have come. We have been able to overcome these boundaries, but to overcome them, what is required, the thing you need, you should be able to express yourself, to tell your ideas, so that the others understand you and you understand them. And that is why communication becomes an important part of it. In the image that I have on the same slide, you see the globalization index. It is made up of three things. One is economic, another is social, very important, and the third is political. Not much important from globalization point of view, let me tell you, but the economic and social, that economic globalization is related to trade and finance. The most important thing for me, finance, economic development. Then social, interpersonal globalization, the relationship between human beings, information, as I am communicating you through information technology, that is there, and cultural globalization, the coming together of people from different communities, from different caste, from different religion, different races, they come together, and this kind of society we get in globalization, in the era of globalization. And the most important thing, in globalization happens to be communication, because unless you are able to communicate your idea, unless you are able to exchange your thoughts, your ideas, है ना, things won't work. They won't work in the proper direction. So that is how we have globalization and communication coming together. Then for communication, there are many platforms available. And now this is all of you must be knowing, but just in order to introduce you to that, to the topic of the day, of the discussion, I had to include this. After establishing the relationship between communication and globalization, there are different types of communication, different modes of communication through which the messages can be effectively sent. As businesses are no longer uh, related only to the customer in communities. Earlier we had barter system. One of the person having a crop of wheat, gehu, another person having a crop of lentil, dal, and they will exchange it. Isn't it? That is barter system. That kind of economies existed earlier. Then the changes came. Money came into practice. Now, along with that, now the currency, money, currency has become a part of global world, of whole world. The value of rupee is determined not only by the economy that we have in India, but by the international market. And same is true about dollar and pounds. So business no longer is limited to customers who are from their communities. Because of globalization, we have been able to connect the people across the world beyond the borders of our country. And for this, the business must communicate the benefits of the product from the perspective of partners and customers abroad. Of course, a person from Nagpur won't be able to go and sell it in New York. There has to be someone else who is his representative and selling the product in New York. Now, from that point of view, from that perspective, and the product which has to be sent, which has to be sold off there to the partner there. Again, what is important is communication. And it is only if communication is there, this process will be beneficial in the process of the sale of product in the country across the border. Only then it will be successful. So again, for that, communication is required. And the different communications, in person, you can communicate in person directly. It can help build effective relationship because of personal contact, body language, and proximity. Proximity, togetherness, closeness. And when you talk on phone, the feeling is different. If you want to convey something, it's a bit difficult and a bit different. Not difficult, but bit different when it is a telephonic message, and when it is conveyed directly, it assumes different significance, another importance. So the personal contact remains important, no doubt about that. But again, that is possible only at regional level. It is possible only at regional level. So when you move on to the globalization, somewhere this personal contact won't be as frequently possible as it should be. So you have to take help of other forms of communication, that is written communication. It allows the international business partners more time to compose thoughts and accurately express intentions or concerns. In written communication, you can take your time. You can write it again and again till you are confirmed, till you are satisfied that this is what you want to convey. You can take some extra time there and things can be communicated. That is one of the advantage of written communication. Personal communication, okay, fine, but not possible quite frequently in these days, in this era. That is the one thing. Then written communication, It takes it will take some more time, but the communication will be a bit more perfect, because you have an option of changing the things at your end before delivering them. And the last is audio and video conferencing that we are getting used to now. Let me tell you, audio and video conferencing, which is something new for the Indians. We were introduced to it only after we had faced the pandemic, COVID-19. Only after we faced that we got introduced to this part of the technology. Otherwise, in the other countries, in European countries, it is in existence since the beginning of this century. It is nothing new for them, but for us, it is very new, but it is the most advantageous and most connecting source for the age of globalization. It facilitates our business, and more important, at low cost. It hasn't remained as expensive as it was earlier. So different modes of communication are there. It can be personal, that also involves body language. It can be written, where a person can take some time, where the person can make changes in accordance to his or her confirmation of thought, and then post it. And the last is audio video conferencing, which can be carried out in at low cost. So of these three, the most convenient for globalization is the third one, that is audio and video conferencing. First one, there is lack of frequency. Second one, more time consuming. Third one, you can call person as many times as you want, isn't it? And it won't consume much of the time. So the third form of communication that there are multiple platforms available, but audio and video conferencing, it is something which facilitates the live business in the age of globalization. So this is how globalization and communication, they are connected. And the most important part of communication for globalization is audio and video conferencing. This is what we have experienced. Now, along with communication, the other aspect of human society that affects the process of globalization is the presence of culture. The presence of culture. So, culture, what is culture made of? Just see the image again on the slide. That language, of course, it starts with working schedules. Let me tell you, the working schedules, they do differ from place to place. My friends who had been to Goa, if you had been ever been to Goa, after 6 o'clock, nothing remains open in the market. The markets get closed sharp at 6 o'clock in Goa. As in this part of India, we find that the business runs until 10 o'clock, but that is not the case there. So working schedules, they also differ from place to place. Clothes and dressing, we all know. Today we dress up in shirts and trousers. Unknowingly, we have adopted the culture of the British. We have given away our dhoti and kurta and taken over to which is more convenient, which is more comfortable, that is shirt and trousers, isn't it? So clothes and dressing, they are a part of our culture, and our acceptance of these trousers is nothing but a best example of multiculturalism. Manners, good morning, again it's a British. Suprabhat, this is what is Indian. So, but good morning, we are quite normal, we are quite comfortable with that, very happy with that. Jokes, yes, even they are a part of culture, isn't? We have jokes on different communities, on different people. Celebration, of course, no doubt about that. Folk art, again a part of culture. Food, South Indian restaurant, North Indian restaurant, Maharashtrian food, isn't it? So that is one of the important aspects. Child rearing method, bringing up a child. Religion, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism. Every religion has its own culture. Medical cure, and last but not the least is language, which is on the top. Okay, so these all things together make a culture. And when globalization has started taking place, culture has been transformed into multicultural. People from different background, with different manners, different languages, different celebration, different food, and they are coming together. And their multicultural competency is what is required for a person to be successful in the age of globalization. Now, what is multicultural competency? It is knowledge, skills, and personal attributes needed to live and work in a diverse world. From UP, with all Hindi background. My mom, even now, she is unable to speak in Marathi or understand Marathi. We have complete Hindi background, but I am so good in Marathi that when I start speaking in Marathi, people can't tell that I am a Hindi sider. So that is multicultural competency. That is what is required. Multicultural competency is knowledge, skill, and personal attributes. You adjust to the situation, change yourself in accordance to the place where you have come to work. That is personal attributes needed to live and work in a diverse world. That is what is multicultural competency. It is ability to respond and adapt to new and changing situation. That is what you should be able to do. Come out of these four walls. The world is bigger than this, much better than what we are looking at. So that ability, yogyata, to respond and adapt to change, to new and changing situation. That is what is required. To understand another person's culture by listening to and understanding their perspective. Not मेरे मुर्गे की एक टांग, मेरा ही सब कुछ अच्छा है. No, it is not possible. ऐसा कहीं पे भी नहीं है दुनिया में. Nothing is perfect. No civilization is perfect, let me tell you. No religion is perfect. No language is perfect. Everything has its merits and demerits. So we must be able to understand every person, to understand another person's culture. Understand what culture does he belong to. Because there are certain aspects, certain things in the culture of another person which are better, which are significant and important than what we have in our culture. And there are something in our culture which they don't have. So this exchange of ideas is very necessary, very important, to understand each other's culture by listening to and understanding their perspective, what they want to say. That is what is important. Then ability to work in culturally diverse group toward a common goal. Culturally diverse group. People from different communities, they are taking care of certain important event. There can be a person from Bengal, a person from Kerala, a person from Tamil Nadu, a person from Bihar. And they coming together and working on some aspect in a college, in some event in a college. And now that is what is work. Culturally diverse group, they come together. Their aim is common. They have a common aim, a common goal. So that is what is multiculturalism is there, which is a part of globalization. Then we have verbal and non-verbal communication skills in interaction with those who are culturally different from oneself, from us. Verbal and non-verbal communication. Of course, verbal communication comes to language. That has to be different. Even in Marathi language, you have different culture, different Marathi from for different area, different region. As Maharashtra is divided into Khandesh, Paschim Maharashtra, Marathwada, Vidarbha. Marathi of this region is not the same. It differs. Hindi of UP, MP and Bihar is different. They don't have similar kind of accent. So that is verbal communication, and non-verbal through signs. Non-verbal communication skills in interaction with those who are culturally different from us. We need to understand that. And so along with that, now what is needed here is our competency, our ability to speak and write more than in one language. Of course, that is what is required in globalization. You must be competent. There are many words in Hindi which are not a part of Hindi language. They are part of Urdu language. Most of the Hindi movies have their titles from Urdu. Qayamat se Qayamat tak, the first movie of Amir Khan. Qayamat is an Urdu word, isn't it? But it has become part and parcel of Hindi. For chair, the word chair, which is considered to be an English word by us, has its origin in French. It's a French word. English people, they were not having chairs, they were having stools. But when French captured England, it was chair came into English language and became part and parcel of English language. So knowingly, unknowingly, we are grasping other languages, no doubt. And our competency, our ability to understand and speak in more than one language is something which is an example of multiculturalism, and it is one of the important aspect, important competency which is required for a person to perform, to work, to be successful in this era of globalization. So it is about multicultural competency which is required. Knowledge, skill, and your personal behavior. And this all you must be able to adjust with. You must be able to accept the person from different culture. And you must be able to speak in more than one language. In here, only Marathi won't help you. Along with Marathi, you must know Hindi. Along with Hindi, you should know English. Along with English, Urdu unknowingly is a part of our conversation. So that is what is the beauty of language, and that acceptancy of that language and competency in more than one language is going to help you to be successful in this era of globalization. You will be surprised that some of you might be knowing, but the language, the most spoken language in Pakistan is not Urdu. It is Punjabi. Punjabi is the language which is spoken by most of the people of Pakistan. Now, and we have more speakers of Urdu in India than in Pakistan. And we have more speakers of Punjabi in Pakistan than in India. So this is how language changes, also crosses the borders, and it gives forms and shapes to our thoughts and the actions and behaviors of a community. So with all this, okay, about the globalization and communication, then multiculturalism and adjusting yourself in that milieu, in that atmosphere, mahol of multiculturalism through accepting the other culture. Language is a part of culture. Now we come to the importance of English language. No doubt, all languages are important. Every communication is important. Whichever communication is there, something that where a person which clears your doubts, that clears your difficulty, that removes misunderstanding. All that communication is important. But still, you cannot deny the importance of English language. Importance of English language. You see, these are it's just an unofficial chart, not an official one, but so many languages are there. if you can see, and see the English, the size of English, the alphabets in which English has been written. See the size of that, and see the size of other the spellings of other languages, the alphabets which have been used, the font that has been used. The English is the biggest. Now that is unofficial, but that is what I just want to suggest. I just want to tell you that it is important, how English language is very important. Even if you are a student of science, the inventions that have taken place, the experiments that you have to carry on, that you have to do, the study material and all that, that all requires communication skill. And most of the knowledge nowadays, gone are the days when we would be talking about Sanskrit. Now in present era, most of the words which give which tell about some new knowledge are in English. That is what is to be understood. Though English is not the most spoken language in the world, it is not the most spoken language in the world. Again, coming back to something surprising, which is the most spoken language in the world? It is the Chinese. Chinese is the most spoken language in the world. But it is not as important as English, let me tell you. Although English is not the most spoken language in the world, it is the official language of 53 countries. And is spoken as first language by around 400 million people. 400 million. 1 million is 10 lakhs. Multiply 400 by 10 lakhs. That many of people. For those people in 53 countries, English is the first language. It is most common second language in the world. Perhaps even more than Chinese. And though Chinese is the most spoken language, when it comes to second language, English is way ahead of all those languages. It has contributed in bringing people together and cultures bringing together. And the benefits of learning English can be seen in the economic, social, and political life of the people of the country. India, what we find today, has made a rapid progress, rapid development, and English has played an important role in that. And through all these points, whatever have been discussed in this slide, whatever have been mentioned in this slide, what I want to tell you that we must recognize that English is an international language, the main language of this planet, irrespective of culture, irrespective of caste, irrespective of religion. Let us be humble, let us be honest and realize, understand, for our well-being, for the well-being of our society, for the well-being of our family, for the well-being of our country, we should understand, we should recognize that English is an international language and it is the main language of this planet. That is what you should understand, and that is what you should accept. That is what is to be accepted. I have already shared this slide with you. Now, English, helps you to take a job. Speaking English allows you to actually broaden your world. You can spread on, you can cross on the border, you can move on to south of India, you can move on to Bangladesh, Pakistan, you can move on to some European country. Allows you to broaden your world. From job opportunities, we don't know where the job opportunity, a better job opportunity will come in these days of liberal economies. And so English will help you to broaden your world from job opportunities and to the ability to relate to people from every country. If you want to work in some other country, and you must be able to connect, you must be able to relate yourself to the people from other country. For that, you must be able to understand them, they should be able to understand you. And that is why English becomes important. That is about the professional world, about the job. How about the world of entertainment? Even in entertainment, we have films, TV shows, books, and music. The books on music. which are published and produced in English. By understanding English, we need not rely on translation and subtitles. So English is not only important from job point of view. After working continuously for 6 to 8 hours, one needs a bit relaxation. One needs a time of leisure, where the time that you can spend in the company of the people you like, in the company, or doing an act which you enjoy, viewing a movie, reading a book. For all that, for the world of entertainment, English is very important. The next is internet. Internet is the next one. The next is internet. The world of internet is not possible without understanding English. And no doubt there are other options. We have Google in. I have seen Google in Hindi as well. I don't know about the other languages, but what I want to tell here that even for the internet, English remains the most important language. English is currently the language of the internet. An estimated of 565 million people use internet every day, and about 50% of the world's most visited websites are displayed in English. More than 50%, isn't it? So 48% are being shared by other languages. It is only English which is dominating the world of internet, with 52% of websites in English. Now this is something that we have already discussed, the last point. It being the first language in 53 countries, second language in over 118 countries, and learning English makes us it's easy to travel anywhere. Airport announcements, the information about the other modes of transport, street signs, they all are available in English. So English facilitates, English helps not only in job but also in the world of entertainment, internet, and travel. So English remains one of the important forms of communication for the world today in this era of globalization. Along with that, it improves the quality of life, of course. When you will be getting a better opportunity, better job, the quality of life will improve. But how is it possible to have a good quality of life, a better job? For that, you need to take better education. So it is not only classy, not only showy, dikhawa, but there is a possibility to continue studies and specialization in the best universities in the world, which are in fact in countries where they speak English. The European economies, the Australia, America, Canada, these are the places where the education, where the syllabus, the program seems to be completely developed. And most of the communication in these countries is in English. Then when you go to some other country, again, shopping, negotiating rent and other things, you must be able to communicate in English. English has been able to bring down the barriers, including cultural ones. Even the cultural barriers are no more there, as we have already discussed it in multiculturalism. And the English language allows us to relate and therefore understand each other. We are able to relate ourselves with different people from different country, and this relation is not merely superficial, but we are able to understand the people from other region, other community, other religion, other continent, any other part of the world. So there is expansion in your social, in your on the social side. There is improvement on the educational side, going confidently for shopping and negotiation in the other matters. That is a part of your personality. So everywhere English improves the quality of life. That is one of the important aspect that English language holds. Now, to enhance English language, the enhancement of language, for any language, not only English, for any language, you need four things. That is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Very basic ABC of language. To understand language, first of all, child listens. When a child is an infant, he just listens to what his parents or his grandparents or the other members of the family they are uttering. That is what is grasped by a child. Then after some time we find that he or she is able to make sounds. That is the beginning of speaking. Then they are able to understand symbols. That is the beginning of reading. And of course, then comes the writing. Fourth and last is the writing. So these are the four aspects. These are the four aspects of the enhancement of any language. Okay, but as here we are considering English language to be one of the important forms of communication. This all is applicable to English language. Now, communication skill, globalization and communication, multiculturalism, importance of English. Okay, now along with it, English, what is it? After all, it is a tool, it is a weapon for communication. And communication is an act of transferring information from one place to another, from one person to another, from one place to another place, through telephone, through telegram, or from one person to another. That is, it is a part of communication. So communication skill, no need to elaborate on that. We have gone through all this earlier as well. Now the second point is important. It is a continuous learning process. Never get carried away that you being a teacher of English or you being a teacher of Hindi or for any language, if you are a teacher of that language, that doesn't mean that you are master. You may be master in arts, MA in English, but that doesn't mean that you are lifetime, you are master of that language. Communication skill may take a lifetime to master. Pura जीवन लग जाता है to master a language. And if anyone can ever claim to have mastered them, if anyone has claimed, and it must have taken the whole life. There are, however, many things that you can do fairly easily to improve your communication skill. Okay, but you need not wait for the whole life to understand and learn a language. Otherwise, what is the use of that language? So there are certain communication skills that ensure, that guarantee that you are able to transfer your thought and receive information effectively. You need not give your whole life to the learning of one language. That is possible in a year or so by making use of certain skill. Now, some data is there in the third part. Listening is the most important of the four skill. The most important part of learning a language is listening. Listening is the most important of four skills, as it occupies 45% of the time. 45% of the time adults spend in communication. 45% we are listening. Then it is more than speaking, which is 30%. 45% we listen, 30% we speak, we and read and write make up 16 and 9% respectively. Reading is 16% and writing is 9%. So this is what we do. 45% we listen to a language, 30% we speak a language, 16% we read a language, and 9% we write a language. And together this 100% gives us command over a particular language. Speaking here, it is about English language. Now, The active listening skills. Ask open-ended question. Open-ended. Something which will, discussion will come out. That is open-ended. The questions from which the discussion will come out. The people will discuss. There will be dialogue. There will be communication. That is what is important, because that will improve your communication skill. Request clarification. Clarity. I haven't understood it. Please, will you please explain it again? Don't be afraid of doing that. Be attentive, concentrate. Summarize the thing, whatever the person has told. You must be able to find the important points from that. That is summarizing. Paraphrase. Whatever person has said, you can have it in your own language, in your own words, not language. The language may remain the same, but you can come out with the same thoughts and same feeling in different words. That is paraphrasing. Reflect feelings. Honestly reflect your feelings. This is good, this is bad. I like this, I don't like this. Reflection of feeling. Be attuned to feeling the same meaning. And ask probing question. The first one, ask open-ended question and probing question. Something that will lead to discussion, something that will lead to dialogue between you and other people, other person. That is what is required. So okay, you are listening. The listening skills are important, but these are the principles, these are the characteristics that you should remember when it comes to the listening skill. Then 45% of is listening. I think I've come to reading. This is speaking. 30% of it comes to speaking. And the 4 speaking skills. The first one is pronunciation. The very first is pronunciation. The word itself, the pronunciation itself is so wrongly pronounced. Pronunciation, isn't it? People say pronunciation, N-O-U-N instead of N-U-N. So pronunciation is the most important part of speaking skill. That is most important. But when it comes to pronunciation, what is more important? Vocabulary. You must be in possession of the word power. Vocabulary is power of word. You must be knowing what is this thing called? Cupboard, plastic, fan, laptop. So you should be knowing what is that. What is that thing called? What is the name of that market? What is that shop called? What are the things in that shop? What are they called? Confectionery. This is a shop of sweets and all that. General store. So this is vocabulary that is important. Fluency. You must be able to speak continuously. Fluency. Pronunciation, vocabulary, fluency, and last but not the least, the circle is completed with grammar. Grammatically, construction should be right, because that is what is the general agreement between two people. Understanding the language, grammar is important. That this is the grammar that we will follow. Unknowingly, without any agreement in writing, we have accepted. If you are grammatically incorrect, the other person may not understand what you want to say. So these are the 4 aspects of English speaking that you have to remember. The speaking skills, and the 4 speaking skills, it starts with pronunciation, then vocabulary, fluency, and last is grammar. These are the 4 things which are required. Then about coming to writing after speaking, when we come to writing, spelling, use of punctuation, of course grammar was there, grammar is here, grammar will remain whenever language is there. Use of connectors like comma, colon, semicolon, range of vocabulary, variety of sentence types, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence. You may start with simple for the beginning, dividing into paragraphs, When one idea ends, the next paragraph is with a new idea. You start with the next paragraph. Awareness of purpose and audience, what you want to convey. Organization and coherence. Tuta nahi hona chahiye. It should be one coherent, correct style. So last four are one and the same. Organization, coherence, cohesion, and correct style. And this is all that makes a good writing. The general thing, the basic thing remains spelling, punctuation, grammar, and connectors. The four important things. That is what you have to remember. Connectors are the different symbols that we use. Full stop kahan par aayega, comma kahan pe aayega, colon kahan pe aayega, question mark kahan pe aayega. That is what is important. Capital se kahan se shuru hoga, kya capital mein nahi aayega. This all is the awareness that you should know for a good writing. And reading, of course, which is 16% is reading. You should be able to analyze the text that you have read. Whatever the author has said, you must be able to interpret, find out the meaning. You must be able to read between the lines. That is what is analysis of a text. Explore, understand after your interpretation that this is what the author is trying to convey. You go deep into the meaning, explore it, critically analyze it from what is right and what is wrong. That is exploring it. And then you must be able to explain it yourself. You must be able to explain it yourself. So that is the three aspects which are required in reading skill. And this does the four things. Listening, listening to a language, speaking a language, speaking, writing, and reading and writing. These are the four things that will help you understand a language and communicate in a better way. Now, there are certain suggestions for improving your communication skill. Nowadays, you see, we are the TV is found everywhere. If you go to a hospital, wherever we have a waiting room, television is on. If you go to a railway station, television is there. So at public places, at your home, in your bedroom, in drawing room, it is found everywhere. So we have, most of the time, whenever we are inactive, not doing anything, we are viewing TV. We are viewing TV. Okay, nowadays it is mobile, but there is not much difference between this mobile and that TV, isn't it? So you listen to English news channels. Now, just whatever suggestions are there, they are from the English language point of view. Remember this. If there is anyone else who wants to communicate in other language, he can follow the same steps for that language. But here I am more interested in conveying you of improving your communication skills in English. So listen to English news channels rather than vernacular channels, regional channels, which you understand conveniently. Only because you understand the regional language conveniently, that doesn't mean that you should only view, you should only listen to news in regional channels. Please visit the English news channels and listen to the news there. Your favorite pastime, enjoy your favorite pastime by keeping yourself connected to English language. Even when you are passing your time in your leisure, and try to remain connected to English language. For example, prefer listening English commentary. We have different commentary on different channel. There is one channel for Hindi commentary, another channel for English commentary. Prefer the channel with English commentary rather than that in Hindi or any other regional language. Then original movies, they will give you more entertainment, more enjoyment rather than the movies that are dubbed in regional languages. Initially, You will struggle to understand the pronunciation, no doubt. Initially, but go through 10-15 movies and you will find that you are able to understand the pronunciation of the British or the Americans. You will be able to grasp it once your ears get habitual to that. Be bold, dare to converse in English grammatically. You may be wrong initially. गलतियां होएगी पहले because practice make it man perfect. You don't have a practice of speaking, but still when you start there will be grammatical errors. But go ahead, don't stop. Be bold in converse in English. Grammatically you may be wrong for certain period. It is an initiation problem, teething problem, शुरुआत का, which will be removed effectively once you have sufficient practice. Once you have enough practice, that problem will go away automatically. Read abridged editions of popular fictions. छोटे छोटे novels आते हैं, popular novels, Pride and Prejudice, Robinson Crusoe. And there are many publications which are in simple English and summarized one, abridged edition of this fiction, novels. Instead of going for the original text, read articles and reports in newspaper which are of your choice. The reading habit is going away slowly. पढ़ने की आदत चले जा रही है धीरे धीरे. Read the articles which are of your choice, the reports which you like in the newspaper, and in that way get in touch with reading. Read it. And be in constant touch with language, directly or indirectly, in one way or the other. Be in touch with language through casual listening, not seriously, casually. बस चालू करके रख दिया और अपन आराम से सोए हैं. But let the language come to your ears through casual listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So these are the certain things that will help you to improve your communication skills. So that is the end of my presentation, and once again a big thank to the organizers with and respect. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I am audible now. Okay. So, and thanks for the students for their patient listening. See if you can make out anything from it and make it a part of your everyday living. Develop your communication skills along with the knowledge of science that you would be possessing through the prescribed syllabus of this university. This coming together, this combination of communication skill and the knowledge of science will really help you to climb the ladder of success in your life. So thank you once again to the organizers, and I hand over the mic back to the anchor.
Thank you, sir, for your informative and inspiring talk. It is my proud privilege to invite our esteemed principal for his concluding remarks. Sir.
Thank you, Amit. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Firstly, I pay my humble tributes to the founder president of Shri Shivaji Education Society, Amravati, Dr. Panjabrao Alais Bhosaheb Deshmukh. Recently, we have celebrated 123rd birth anniversary of Dr. Panjabrao Alais Bhosaheb Deshmukh. Today's guest lecture or guest speaker, Dr. Kapil Singhel, sir, Associate Professor, Department of English, Vasantrao, Naik, Government Institute of Arts and Social Sciences, Nagpur. Conveners of this particular guest lecture, Dr. G.L. Jadhav, Mr. Amit Jaiswal, Organizing Secretaries, Dr. Shubha Chandak and Mr. Manish Chauhan, all the teaching staff members, and all my dear students who are attending this particular guest lecture virtually. In fact, this particular lecture on Globalization and Communication Skills by the resource person Dr. Kapil Singhel sir is being organized under the aegis of Value Education and Extension Activities Cell of our college. I take this opportunity to congratulate the convener of the committee, Dr. G.L. Jadhav, and Mr. Amit Jaiswal for taking initiative in organizing this particular guest lecture by Dr. Singhel sir. In fact, from my point of view, globalization and communication skills, the title is very paramount, and it is the need of the hour that our students from the region should be given opportunity to deal with the globalization and communication skills. Of course, Singhel sir has nicely presented the topic. He has already mentioned that English is a language which makes us internationally connected. He has also said that we humans are having a God gift of the communicating ability. Really, sir, it's true. Because of the communicating ability, we are able to communicate with others throughout the globe. Singhel sir has elaborately said that globalization cannot be separated. Communication and globalization are the two things which cannot be separated. He has also talked of globalization, that two types of globalizations, economic, social, and political. In case of communication, sir has covered the communication types. He has mentioned that in-person communication, written communication, audio, video, conferencing, these are the ways of communicating with each others. What I liked in the today's talk is the need of multicultural competency. Sir, you have rightly raised the issue of need of multicultural competency. It is the multicultural competency that takes us to greater heights. We should develop ability to respond and adapt to new and changing situations. Very rightly said, sir. In his talk, Singhel sir has discussed the importance of English language. He has, for the sake of importance of English language, he has shared with us the worldwide statistics of the languages being spoken, the languages which are being used for communication. And finally, in a nutshell, what we come to see is English is the language which is going to improve the quality of our lives. Very right, sir. English is going to improve the quality of our lives. Lastly, sir has also discussed the language enhancement skills, the 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And also he has given some suggestions for improving the communication skills. Sir, I think your today's lecture will be beneficial activity for our students as far as the communication skills are concerned. Whatever information you have shared with our students, I hope it will be taken by our students seriously, and our students will be able to improve themselves. Students will be able to enhance their language skills in a proper manner.
Yeah.
with these words, I thank you, sir, for having accepted our invitation to be a guest speaker for this morning and uh, having interaction with our students and teachers. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure, sir. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
the
sir.
opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Shubha Chandak Madam from Department of Languages to present a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. A warm good afternoon to everyone on the board. Thank you, Dr. Kapil Singhel, sir, for making us understand that with multicultural competency, language is merging globally. With this onset, I would also like to mention that today is Vishwa Hindi Divas. So, as our Hindi language is gaining importance all over the globe, so is our Indian culture. And now, I would like to extend my vote of thanks. On behalf of our college, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Kapil Singhel, sir, to spare his valuable time from his busy schedule to deliver this lecture. His views on communication skills will surely help the students in developing their personality. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Dr. M.P. Dhure sir, for his enduring support and encouragement to conduct this lecture. I thank Dr. J.L. Jadhav sir, Coordinator, Value Education and Extension Activities Cell, for organizing this event. Also, I thank Amit Jaiswal sir from Language Department for his untiring efforts to make the program a successful one. I also thank J.K. Keche sir for his technical support and assistance in successfully conducting this program. Lastly, I thank all the students for joining us. Now, with the permission of the chair, I would like to conclude this program here. May I, sir? Thank
Yes,
you.
madam. Thank you.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. It was a pleasure to be
We
a
will
part
be
of
coming
this.
frequently.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.